Ladies and gentlemen, life is unpredictable. People enter our lives, they make us feel deeply, and sometimes they leave just as quickly as they arrived. But what happens when they come back? What does it mean when someone who once hurt you returns, knocking on the same door they once walked out of? It's easy to believe that love is about fate, about people finding their way back to each other no matter what. But the truth is, not every return is a sign of destiny. Sometimes it's just regret. Sometimes it's loneliness. And sometimes it's because the world outside wasn't as kind as they thought it would be. This is not just about them. It's about you. It's about understanding why people come back, but more importantly, why you have the power to decide whether they should stay. Because at the end of the day, love is not just about who misses you. It's about who truly values you. Life moves in cycles. People come, people go, and sometimes they come back. It's not just about relationships. It's a rhythm we see in all areas of life. The things we let go of often find their way back to us, and the people who once walked away sometimes return. This pattern is deeply woven into human nature because we are beings of experience, growth, and reflection. We don't always understand what we have when we have it, and sometimes it takes distance, loss, and time to see clearly. When a woman leaves and then comes back after hurting you, it's often because she has gone through her own journey of realization. Maybe she thought she was making the right decision when she left. Maybe she believed she had outgrown the relationship, or that something better was waiting for her elsewhere. But life has a way of teaching lessons in unexpected ways. The world outside may not have been as kind as she imagined, or the love she expected to find elsewhere wasn't as deep, as real, or as safe as what she once had. Regret is a powerful emotion, and it often fuels the desire to return. People don't always recognize the value of something while they have it, but absence magnifies meaning. What once felt ordinary can suddenly seem irreplaceable when it's gone. A relationship that was taken for granted can become a source of longing. The mind replays memories and emotions start to shift. What was once overlooked now seems golden. But let's be honest, this pattern isn't just about her, it's about all of us. Haven't we all made decisions we later questioned? Haven't we all walked away from something only to later realize we left behind something good? That's why hurt and return are such common experiences. Human beings are imperfect. We learn by making mistakes, and sometimes the lessons come too late. It's also important to remember that just because someone comes back doesn't mean everything is meant to be the same again. Sometimes people return because they truly have changed. Other times they return because they are seeking comfort, familiarity, or even redemption. Their reasons matter, but what matters more is how you choose to handle their return. Just because pain and reunion are part of the human pattern doesn't mean you are obligated to repeat the past. Hurt and return will always be a cycle in life. It's part of the way we grow, the way we understand ourselves and others. But what you do when someone returns is entirely up to you. Do you embrace the cycle or do you break it? That is where your power lies. Regret has a way of creeping into the corners of our minds, whispering truths we once ignored. It doesn't shout all at once. It builds little by little until it becomes impossible to silence. At first, it might just be a passing thought, one fleeting memory that resurfaces without warning, but then it grows louder, turning into sleepless nights and what-ifs that can't be escaped. When someone walks away, they might feel certain in the moment. They might believe they're making the best decision for themselves, convinced that leaving is the right path, but time has a way of shifting perspectives. The further they get from what they left behind, the more they begin to question whether they made a mistake. It starts subtly, an old song that brings back a memory, a familiar scent that triggers a moment long gone, a random place that reminds them of a time when life felt different. At first, they brush it off. They tell themselves it's just nostalgia, just the mind playing tricks. But then it happens again and again until one day they realize that what they left wasn't just a chapter in their life, it was a part of them. Regret is not just about missing someone, it's about realizing too late what they meant. It's about looking back and seeing clearly what was once blurred by pride, fear, or distraction. It's about recognizing that the love, the care, the presence of someone wasn't just a convenience, but a gift. And the weight of that realization is heavy. It presses on the heart and lingers in the mind, making it impossible to move forward without addressing the past. That's why some people come back, not necessarily because they have changed, not always because they're ready to be better, but because they need relief from the voice of regret echoing inside them. They hope that by returning, by rekindling what once was, they can quiet the noise in their heads. They believe that if they step back into the space they left, they might find peace again. But here's the truth about regret. It's a teacher, not a time machine. It reveals lessons, but it doesn't erase damage. It reminds people of what they lost, but it doesn't guarantee they're ready to honor it differently this time. Just because someone regrets hurting you doesn't mean they are prepared to love you in the way you deserve. Their regret is theirs to carry, but your decision to let them back in is yours to make. Regret may be a loud voice, but it is not always a reason to reopen a closed door. Sometimes it is simply a reminder of what was, a lesson for the one who left, and a moment of clarity for the one who stayed. There's something about familiarity that wraps around a person like a warm embrace, even when they've tried to walk away from it. It's the way certain places, faces, and routines become woven into the fabric of our lives, making it nearly impossible to forget them completely. No matter how much time passes, no matter how far someone tries to run, familiarity has a way of pulling them back. It feels safe, it feels known, it feels like home. When a woman leaves and then comes back after hurting you, part of that pull is the deep sense of familiarity she once had with you. She remembers the sound of your voice, the way you used to laugh, the comfort of being with someone who understood her without needing words. She might have convinced herself that she was ready to start fresh somewhere else with someone new or even on her own. But in the quiet moments, in the spaces where life feels uncertain, her mind drifts back to what once felt stable, to the person who made her feel seen, to the love that life has a way of reminding people what they had when they no longer have it. She may have thought she could replace the warmth you gave her, that she could recreate the kind of bond you shared with someone else, but true familiarity, the kind that is built over time through moments both big and small, isn't something that can simply be found elsewhere. It's not just about love. It's about the unspoken connection, the inside jokes, the way you knew her moods before she even spoke. It's the way you made her feel at home, not just in a physical space, but within herself. And that feeling is hard to let go of. It's why people often return to relationships they once thought they were done with. Because even when things weren't perfect, even when mistakes were made, the familiarity of being with someone who truly knows you is powerful. In a world full of uncertainty, in a life that is constantly shifting, there's something deeply reassuring about being with someone who already understands your heart. But here's the thing, just because something feels familiar doesn't mean it's where you belong. Comfort and love are not the same thing. Sometimes people come back not because they're ready to do better, but because they're scared of the unknown. They come back because it's easier to return to a familiar embrace than to face the reality of starting over. They come back because it feels safer than being alone. So when she returns, you have to ask yourself, is she coming back because she truly values what you had? Or is she just seeking comfort in what's familiar? Because love should be a choice, not just a habit. And you deserve someone who stays, not because it's easy, but because they truly see you as home. Not every return is a redemption. Sometimes it's just unfinished business disguised as fate. Sometimes it's guilt wearing the mask of love, and sometimes it's simply a person coming back not because they've changed, but because they don't like the reality of being without you. When someone who hurt you returns, it's easy to romanticize it. It's tempting to believe that time has transformed them, that the pain they caused you has now been replaced with wisdom and regret. But the truth is, not every return carries a lesson learned. Some people come back for selfish reasons. They miss the comfort, not the commitment. They miss the way you made them feel, not the way they made you feel. They miss your presence, but not enough to do the work to deserve it again. A real redemption story isn't just about returning. It's about accountability. It's about a person acknowledging what they did, understanding the depth of the hurt they caused, and actively choosing to do better. But a lot of times when people come back, they skip that step. They show up with soft words and familiar touches, hoping you'll pick up where things left off without truly addressing why they left in the first place. You have to be able to tell the difference between someone who is ready to make amends and someone who is just afraid of losing their access to you. Because access is what some people crave, not growth, not change, just the ability to step back into your life when it's convenient for them. They don't return because they've truly seen the error of their ways. They return because they see you moving forward, and they don't want to be left behind. You don't owe anyone a second chance just because they decided to come back. Their return is not the proof of their transformation. Their actions are. Watch what they do, not just what they say. A person who is truly seeking redemption will move differently. They won't rush to be accepted again. They will take the time to prove that they are worthy of it. They won't ask you to forget the past. They will work to show you that the past won't repeat itself. They won't just apologize. They will take real steps to heal the wounds they created. But if they come back acting like nothing happened, if they expect to be welcomed without proving they've changed, if they are more focused on convincing you to take them back rather than earning your trust again, then their return is not about redemption. It's about convenience. So when someone who hurt you returns, don't just ask yourself if you miss them. Ask yourself if they've earned the right to be back in your life. Not every return is a redemption, and not every person who comes back deserves to stay. Power is not in the hands of the person who left. It is in the hands of the one they are trying to return to. When someone comes back after hurting you, the decision is not just about them. It's about you. It's about what you want, what you need, and what you deserve. Their return may come with apologies, with explanations, with promises of change, but none of that matters more than your choice. Choice is where true power lies. It is easy to believe that when someone leaves, we are powerless, that we are simply at the mercy of their decisions, their emotions, their uncertainty. But the moment they return, the dynamic shifts. They are no longer in control. They are now seeking permission, hoping for another chance, waiting to see if the door they walked out of will open again. And in that moment, you have something they don't. You have the ability to decide. This is where clarity is needed, because choices are not just about feelings. They are about standards, about self-respect, about knowing what you will and will not allow in your life. Love is not just about who wants you. It is about who consistently values. If someone comes back, but they return with the same patterns, the same excuses, the same lack of accountability, then the power of choice means recognizing that you deserve better. But sometimes choice isn't easy. Emotions complicate things. Memories play tricks on us. The heart whispers, maybe this time it will be different. And that's why stepping into your power means stepping into truth. What do their actions show? What does your intuition tell you? What do you truly need Many people think power is about control over others, but real power is control over yourself. It is the ability to say, I decide what happens next. It is standing firm in what you deserve, even when emotions try to pull you back into what is familiar. Because not every return means someone has changed. And not every return means you have to say yes. Your power lies in choice. The choice to accept or to walk away. The choice to believe words or demand actions. The choice to put yourself first. The choice to no longer be a revolving door for someone who only values you when they feel your absence. Because love is not just about who comes back. It is about who never leaves in the first place. In conclusion, life is a cycle of love, loss, and learning. People come, people go, and sometimes they return. But the important thing to remember is that not every return is a redemption. Not every regret is proof of change, and not every familiar face belongs in your future. When a woman comes back after hurting you, it is not a sign that you must take her back. It is a moment for you to decide what you truly deserve. Maybe she has changed. Maybe she has not. Maybe her return is sincere, or maybe it is just a reaction to the discomfort of being without you. But the power is not in her coming back. The power is in your choice. Hurt and return are part of the human experience, but they do not define you. Regret may be a loud voice, but it should never be louder than your self-worth. Familiarity may feel like home, but home is not just where someone is comfortable, it is where they are truly valued. So when the past knocks on your door, do not just ask if they miss you, ask if they are worthy of you. Because love is not about who leaves and returns, it is about who chooses to stay, respect, and cherish you from the start. And above all, it is about who you choose to allow into your life. That choice is your power.